Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have a few messages for you this morning. So apparently you are surviving their best. They've been sending some really heavy hitters your way, and you just keep living. The curator of Life Force Vitality is talking about a commitment and hunted somebody in the United States. So they're talking about hunting somebody in the United States. They're committed to it. They're talking about cellmates and something about a prophecy. So I don't know exactly what that means. Perhaps it means something to you. So that was yesterday. And this morning, as I left my house, earlier than typical, there was a truck across the street from me. And it was sitting there in the dark, and its brake lights were on, but its headlights were off. So I pull out of my driveway and I inch my way up to the stop sign, and I made my turn, and then they flipped their lights on and they drove off. So this is strange. Now I don't know if they're stalking me or if that's a protector. I choose to think the latter. So these antagonists are talking about South Africa. And something being highly significant. They're talking about 1,000 years. They're discussing Homo sapiens, or perhaps that you are an original Homo sapiens. The command of this old chapter is desperate to gain a representative who can compete against you. Apparently you keep beating everybody. They failed in their endeavor to evict and trap you. This person that they desperately need, has to be a female, and preferably Sagittarius. They keep looking for this Sagittarius. They've previously stated in other messaging that she's to be a certain age, a certain religion, brunette, all this stuff. They got this in this prophecy, that they know in part, but they think they know in full. So they're looking for this person. Apparently there's an announcement that's about ready to be made, and they don't have a rival. Excuse me, I'm sorry. They don't have a rival to counter you, to present as the true, authentic one. They want to approach the crowd as though you are false and fraudulent, but they can't find a rival that can compete with you. They weren't able to stop you or to gain control of you. They're wondering if you have animosity. They're looking for any crevice or crack that within you that might contain a trigger that they can exploit to knock your inner harmony out of balance. They may watch you as you breathe into whatever disruption they're trying to focus into you, and they may watch you breathe through it and transmute the energy. They know that you're a psychic. Somebody said something really interesting to me, which is, I don't know a lot about this, but they said the stone won't show up. There's a stone, like, what is this? The Philosopher's Stone? There's some kind of a stone that they get power from, and it won't show up. They're talking about flooding. And somebody said, well, without the flood, ... So they're hoping a flood. And you know what's strange is that I woke up in the middle of the night with this rainbow messaging in my mind, how the Creator promised that they wouldn't, whatever you want to consider the Creator, promised that the earth would not be flooded again. And as a reminder of this covenant was the rainbow, and how the rainbow is also the color of your chakra system, Earth Angel. You are the inner fire that purifies in this time. So at midnight, you know, it's always really strange. They wake me up at midnight, these ones that are out there plotting and planning with each other. And I don't know if this is their gathering time, and I don't know how I got invited, but here I am. They always wake me up when it's time to go have discussions, and I never get the good stuff, and I wish I did, because it's annoying, you know. I don't like being woken up and having half-assed freaking messages coming up, but whatever, I'm sharing it with you anyway. So when I start recording, they get all bent out of shape, you know, and it's just wild to me, because if they didn't really want it recorded, then I don't know why they keep waking me up. It could be that they have trauma bonded with me in the past, and this is just a connection that they can't get rid of now. You know, they weren't able to bury me or cancel out this corded connection, and I'm still alive and I still hear them, and they can't, I guess, stop it or something. I don't know. But apparently you are complicated. She's the one, he said. They're talking about hospital records. And there seems to be an anomaly in yours. So this power dynamic is made up of a masculine and a feminine. It's this duo, the energy of this duo, that generates the power. There's a lot of masculines here who prefer the same sex. So they harvest it off of the original female in their third-party scenario, and then they dress up their person with it, and then they kind of bury you and get rid of you. This is their thing. So the misogynist narc, you know, masculine, they stalk you, feminines, in the astral. They remote view you. They check into your energy. They may even give you an SE-actual dream to taste how its potency and whatever. They target the strongest, and then they try to gain some contract. Now, I have experienced magic being done in the astral on my astral self, where they got this a previous chapter contract through black magic and nefarious means. Very deceitful. And I think that this has happened to a lot of us out there, and that's why our life is shit, because they did this to us, and then they drained our spiritual inheritance, and then had a great time, you know, with their look-alike, masculine, feminine. So it's been a game for gain that they've played. They have a big boss or something that needs the most powerful feminine and masculine, of course, and they think they found her. Now they're looking for this mother figure, you know, the one with the greatest light, the greatest potency to birth light into the flesh vessel. And they want to use her in a bioregenesis program. And later in this messaging, it looks like they want to study her at some special college. But let's get into that later. As I mentioned earlier, they've spoken of the need for her to be a Sagittarius. And also they mentioned South Africa earlier. So there's something about Hebrew text. I don't know what this is. This may be something about some long ago prophetic, you know, wisdom that had been embellished with somebody's fantasy or something. I don't know. So there's a couple of masculines that were talking about SEX magic. There was seemed to be like a younger, but not really, like an older masculine, but like maybe in his mid-20s or something. And they were talking to a younger masculine, saying, when you come, talking about projection on that energy, like some kind of an exchange. Pour crap in, pull the good out, they're teaching this younger how to go out there and do this energy harvesting. They don't see their asexual partners as anything more than a flesh suit to use as a pleasuring system for their phallus, and then offload their karmic debt while gaining a cash exchange or an energetic payout. It's a treasure box made for withdrawal and deposit. Somebody was talking about a dictionary and $1,800 and transient. And it sounds to me like they're paying a transient $1,800 to do something. And I get a little bit later, I think I know what that is. So we'll get into that too. There was a masculine speaking. It sounded like a hybrid. It's time for a real meal. They've been feeding on low light people. And they've been complaining about their feast, this Christmas feast. Something went wrong in their harvest, and they've been starving for some time. I mean, for years now, I've been hearing these ones complain about being so hungry. It's like they want to put a straw in you. Your energy is so big, and there's many who have already drank of it for a long, long time, and they're addicted to it. They want to gobble it up again. They want access. They're freaking out. They say everybody eats, and I suppose they do. I mean, even my dog needs to eat. I had a vision. I was lying on a forest floor like Sleeping Beauty, just like that. And there was a man on one side of me and a woman on the other side of me, and they were kneeling down next to my torso, kind of looking at me as I slept, or as I woke, I suppose. Their hair was long. It was pretty much my color hair, and they had natural clothes on, like they were wearing furs and stuff, which was really cool. And there was another masculine standing at my feet, and his face was obscured, even though it wasn't covered. It was kind of blurred. So there's a thing, right, about identity in these places and spaces. Then this is so WUN was mentioned, and I Googled it, and this is a global higher education and research network of 24 universities across 6 continents. These ones want to study you. There's something about a demon slayer, and it could be that at this university they're looking for a demon slayer because they think you may have one. I've heard them talking recently about an exorcism, like you need one. It's so strange, to hear these ones talk about trying to exorcise the Most High God flowing in you, this divinity, this energy divine. It's so odd to me that they're like this. These shadow people are really concerned about you needing to be exorcised by a demon slayer. They don't like your connection with Source. They don't like that the Most High God is connected to you and moving through you in a good way. Twisted, they said. They really enjoy twisting things. And here's they're talking about using energizers, like random people. And this reminded me about that little blur earlier, about that masculine talking to a younger about coming and how to use that energy. So they're using random people as energizers through asexual encounters. This teacher of a good and moral character, teaching the youth to be all they can be. Thai was mentioned, and the first thing I thought of was Thai food, and it could be that I'm just hungry for Thai food because I've been thinking about those veggie rolls with peanut sauce for the last 3 weeks, I swear. So anyway, Thai was mentioned. Somebody's eating Thai food, somebody wants to eat Thai food, somebody is equal in a contest. Several days ago, I heard these ones saying that there were two potentials, one in the United States and one in North Africa. The ages of 19 and 22 were mentioned. But earlier today, they were mentioning South Africa, so I don't even know. They've never really known what they were talking about. They just kind of hypothesize a lot. But to tie is also to bind something. So they may be trying to bind something. There could be a tie between two people. Then I was listening to this, what seemed like an older masculine, and his voice was very muted. It was like, the visual I got was like one of them old castles, very dimly lit library with that big old fireplace, and he's sitting there sipping on his glass of gin or whatever it is, speaking softly to someone. And a younger masculine said, "I don't know what that means." So whatever that means to you. He put the blaze into ... Now this sounds like he who embodies the essence of the sun. I know him as he who has all authority. And it sounds like he is dealing with certain energies or inhabitants of particular flesh temples. He put the blaze into them. I know when he moved his essence through me, it was very, very gentle and loving, and still my Holy Spirit wanted to jump out in fear, man. It was scary as all get up. And when he speaks, his voice rumbles through your soul and it shakes you to your core. It's incredible. Even in the most gentle way, it's incredible. Many of you, I'm sure, know. So these antagonists are talking about jealousy. Like they're already married and they're thinking about taking another wife or whatever. And they're concerned about jealousy. Or they could be looking at your idea about partnership and union and how you may have a trigger regarding infidelity. You may have you may have gone through some kind of a heart shattering in the past, which created some kind of a crack in you, a trigger that they can poke and manipulate the energy of you through. Or they could just be looking to bring you into the fold as part of the family and this third-party unit, and then where they could eventually just dispose of you and keep your spiritual wealth. This has been their scheme. It's very basic, and it doesn't really change much. Then I had another vision. There was a masculine with brunette hair, darker than mine. And they walked up to me and they looked at me. They were very feminine. And they walked up to me and looked at me and smiled. And his hair was long and kind of like mine. Kind of like this. But flowy, brown. And he walked up to me, looked at me, smiled, then stepped in front of me and turned his back to me. And then another masculine who was a little shorter and fat, kind of bald, came in and kissed that person on the mouth. So I don't know if this is that transient who was paid a dictionary and $1,800 to come in and try to frame me for some kind of an infidelity regarding my kingdom connection, or if this is some mask wearer trying to replace the image that people see and therefore tarnish the reputation of by doing some gross stuff like that. Trying to get you rejected for, or me, or whoever I was supposed to be in that moment, for kissing some fat little effer. Or they could just be contenders, troublemaking illusionists, trying to get a quick buck. Maybe the price was $1,800 and a dictionary. So there, in my experience, there are two sides to this coin. There is the side that harvests endorphins and fluids and flesh, meat. And then there is the other side that sells the energy and the life force vitality and the creatorship of the womb, the ova, and the sperm. They deal in that. So there's two different factions dealing with two different commodities coming from the same source. These ones, they worship a god named Zillah, and this Zillah means shadow in Hebrew. So that's where we're at. That's what I got. And I hope that this brings clarification to something you perhaps already intuitively knew. And I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.